Welcome back. Our responsibility is to shine the light on people that are making a difference, especially if they are young persons and if they are women. You know what they say? Being black, being a woman, being a young person, you have to defy the odds to succeed, even though the African continent is a young continent. So when we spotlight on them, we make sure that we amplify their voices. We have two of them joining us on the program today. They are both co-founders of Cargoplug Logistics. Let's talk to the first person, the COO, Ujama Akpata. Thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me.
We also have Kikela Mofala Oguniya, also an entrepreneur. You're the CEO, you're the COO.
Yes, please.
Okay, let's begin from there.
Thanks for having us.
I know what it is, but for full disclosure, make us understand what exactly the difference between what both of you do before we get to the nitty-gritty of what you do.
Okay, so I'm Kike, and we're co-founders of Cargoplug, of course. So basically, we're a logistics company, it's cross-border logistics. And the difference between what we do is based on our strengths. So I'm the CEO, I'm as the COO. I'm a lawyer by profession, so I'm better with communicating, marketing, and I think dispute resolution, because things like that come up between ourselves, of course. Yeah, dispute resolution in-house and externally. And yeah, just overall oversight functions of the business. And Amma?
So as COO, in terms of like operations, I'm better with numbers. I'm an engineer, chemical engineer by profession. So better with numbers and in terms of like daily operations of the business.
Are you both in the wrong places or something? No. Well, I'm listening. An engineer and a lawyer. And a lawyer. Okay, yeah. I'm just listening to find out exactly. So what made you to just say, okay, engineering, can you just take a bow for just a moment? Let me fix this. And then you, a lawyer, you decided to say, okay, this proceedings, hold off. Let's proceed on the roads. What inspired you?
I think a pain point that we genuinely had. So Amma and I schooled in the UK, came back to Nigeria, and we like shopping. Yeah, we didn't jackpot, we just went to school and came back. And then we like shopping and just always wanted to get things we wanted from the UK, things we'd become accustomed to. And back then, this was in 2013, we started the business in 2013, that's 11 years ago. There weren't that many delivery companies that we could afford at the time. So we thought, why don't we fit? People would always ask on social media, is there anybody coming back from the UK? I need a friend. Do you have a cousin's mommy that is coming back? I need a person to help me carry out a favor. And we thought, let's try and solve this problem for ourselves and obviously for other people in the same shoes. And never did we expect that we'll be here 11 years later, still doing the same thing, but of course, at a bigger scale.
Naturally, we'll hear your own side of the story as well.
Yeah. It's the same story. So we worked together. We actually worked together at an oil servicing company, and we spent our lunch times literally trying to find someone to come in, and then we decided to solve the problem, and we've not looked back since, actually.
Beautiful. I'm curious first, what kind of CEOs are you in the boardroom? Are you or you're calm? I'll ask your workers as well. But let me ask you first. But how does it work? Both of you, I imagine in the boardroom at meetings, how would you describe your approach to business, really?
I think we have a more problem-solving approach. So I wouldn't say we are catty or, we don't make decisions based on emotions. We're very business-minded, so decisions are based on facts, figures, how the numbers are doing. That's how we make our own decisions. We're very critical. We just want to solve a problem that people are dealing with, and that's our aim. Our customers are our number one priority in everything we do, our customers and our team as well.
So I wanted to speak to the toolbox for starting a business in Nigeria, right? Jeffrey said that earlier on. You're women. Right? Maybe the power of two helps, really. So your punch hits faster, but starting a business is not quite easy in Nigeria. And you're in a sector that is quite tricky because you have to deal with customs, you have to deal with all those things, and it's not really black and white. So starting a business in Nigeria, what is, if you had a toolkit that you could arm young Nigerians with, what will be in that toolkit? I'll start from you, Kike.
So, of course, as a lawyer, first thing is regulatory compliance. So be sure that you have a registered business, because people just get on Instagram these days, start something and think it's a business, but it can be a hobby.
And you say CEO Everybody wants to be a CEO now. MD CEO, something.
But yeah, starting right. So comply, register a business, even if it's a business name, start with that. Have a corporate bank account. That's the basic. And I think even before this, be sure you have a market for what you're doing. So for us, we had a pain that we had, and we knew there were a number of people in the same shoes. Have a market ready, and then start with compliance externally and then internally. So let's say you start with yourself, just you as a business person. Even though you're operating from home at the beginning, at least have some kind of structure that you put to your business. Know what your day-to-day looks like, have your to-do, so that when you bring on people on your team, you have something existing, some existing process flows, even if it's just something in Word. Okay, when you start in the morning, this is your job description, you have a letter of employment, just having structure, and even corporate governance as well. So having a board, and maybe at the beginning you can start with just friends, advisory board or something, and then expand as you go along. Now, one of the key things for us was starting right with our numbers. Aside from the fact that we're two and we need to be accountable, we had a proper bank account. And we had an Excel spreadsheet, actually, that a friend of ours, a colleague back then, helped us create. So it'll show us what's coming in, what's going out, and how we can account for monies owned by the business. Now, we didn't realize it, but at the time, we would do it as it's normal. But then when we went to apply for a loan from LSTF, the Lagos State Employment Trust Fund, those documents we kept from day one came in really handy to make us, to present our case properly as a proper structured business. And that helped access a 5 billion naira loan. And I think that starting right is important. So structure, finances, compliance. So like if you're maybe in the skincare industry, for example, have your NAFDAC license, have your trademarks. I think that's part of the requirements for NAFDAC, have your trade, but just do things right. And I think that with those few points, I think that you can, and then market your business. Yes, everybody should shout from the rooftop.
I will come to you, but staying with the toolkit from your end, since you have the legalese, the understanding of the legalese, let's also talk about the finances. I don't know whether you're the one to answer that, or whoever will answer that. So what are the books the small businesses need to have? Because you guys are here to inspire young people and young women.
Yeah.
I don't know whether we have as many young male entrepreneurs like we have women entrepreneurs, vendors all over social media and all of that. They're doing big things, but I don't know how right their books are. So what are the books they should have? She's talked about regulation and all of that. What books are you looking at?
Just basically cash flow to start off. You don't even need to have anything major, but basically have somebody that will keep accounts of what's coming in and what's going out in your books. It's just really basic. And now there's so many accounting softwares online that allow you just get all that information done. Now, things like invoices, receipts, you pay for things, you should have all the receipts for everything you've paid for, invoices for transactions, just to start off with. So I think people usually get very overwhelmed when it comes to accounting, but just keep it simple, keep your receipts, keep your invoices, what's coming in, what's going out. Later on, you can now start building up and having all the other extensive cash flow sheets, but use like basic free software as well. We have so many free software that you can, accounting software that you can use to just account for your books. A lot of people go in and they just have no idea. And then don't mix your personal funds with your business funds. So your business funds decide you use it to do your hair or get your makeup done. Make sure that what's for your business is for your business, what's for your book.
I mean, you guys pay yourselves, right?
Yes, you must pay yourself something. When we even started off in 2013, we paid ourselves a stipend just to be sure that, you're not dipping into the company accounts to kind of like just fund your own personal life. It gives you that form of discipline as well.
So how viable is this business? Talking about this logistics business.
Yes.
How viable is it? Because some people are looking at, okay, that sounds like a great idea.
Yeah.
How viable is it?
It is a very lucrative business. However, it runs with numbers, especially for international. So we focus more on international logistics as opposed to, we used to do local logistics as well. But international mover services, it is lucrative because people are always going to be moving things. Individuals might have a lower buying power at this stage, obviously, because of the economy. But businesses constantly need to move things. For example, this studio, you need to bring in all your equipment, your cameras. It's essential for the business to run. So it is a lucrative business as long as you are able to market it. Like Ike said, you have to market, because if people don't know you do this business, then it's just as good.
We're going to come to that marketing part for a moment. You're already here. It's part of it. Tell us about the fears, or maybe an example of what you've been able to overcome in terms of a challenge. So, for instance, if I say, "Oh, I like this idea that Kike and a friend are into logistics, I would like to do it," but I'm thinking, if I go and try to move equipment maybe worth ₦1 billion and something goes wrong, right? So that fear. Talk to us about the fear. Have you ever experienced a loss in this, and how did you overcome? How much was it, if you can?
I think one of the key things is that losses are normal as a business, regardless of your size. Even the big boys and girls of today have experienced losses. So I think the key thing I would say there is insurance. For a business like ours, we can't run without having insurance cover. So we have insurance cover, we have a cap on our cover, but then we also advise customers to take out additional insurance just to make sure that you cover the full amount of your loss. So yeah, there are different challenges that come up. So I don't know, things breaking in transit. Even you as a traveler, if you put things in your suitcase and you check it in, sometimes you get there and you see that your cream has burst open or something. So you can imagine with logistics. So yeah, there have been losses in the past, but of course, we manage the customers and we also manage our relationship with our insurance companies to just make sure that everything goes
smoothly. What's the worst you suffered? I want
the
numbers.
Worst loss
you say you like numbers. I'm a numbers guy. So talk to us about numbers.
Oh, Lord.
An instant. You may not mention who was involved, but just give us an instance.
I think quite recently we brought in about 43 equipment for construction going on the island, and I think 2 out of the things were broken. It wasn't significant. It's not the most significant. It was over £1,000 worth of loss, but we had taken out insurance for this client, for the items. But things like that happen. Imagine if there wasn't any insurance and then had to pay out of pocket. That would have been crazy. But
I can imagine. That's why I asked that particular question. So let's go to the issue of how you're finding business in Nigeria right now in terms of the business environment. The exchange rate is crazy. I know we made some gains recently. We have gone from 1.7 to 1.5. Whatever sugar is being shared is important. We hope that sugar continues because we're hoping it gets better. But it has gone on steroid, on a free fall. And then all of the encumbrances we could talk about. How are you coping with the economy and doing this kind of business?
For us, as Amma said earlier, our focus in the past was on B2C, so individuals and small businesses. But we realized, I think last year, we pivoted into just B2B, primarily B2B, although we still have our B2C customers. Because we know that, as Amma said as well, that businesses will always have business to bring in or packages to bring in because they're crucial for their operations. So yeah, we've kind of repositioned for business and higher volumes, higher numbers. And that's how we're literally trying to move out of this economic downturn.
I think in addition to that as well, diversification. You have to be flexible, you have to be diverse. We also offer like mover services. So a lot of business that relies heavily on Naira. So relocating one person from the island to the mainland or from Lagos to Abuja, we offer that service. So we found that we've had to bring in, add a lot of different sectors into the business. We procure goods as well for customers that want to bring things in. We are now very tech savvy in terms of our websites, in terms of what people can do. It's very versatile. We have a web app. Right. So everybody, you can track your items, you can insure your items, you can move your goods. You don't have to make a phone call. You can do everything online. So we've made it easy.
Nigeria, we like phone calls, right?
Yes, we know. We have
like,
WhatsApp.
Where are my goods?
Nigerians, we know that you like phone calls, so we have that on lock as well.
2 questions, quick questions. First, family. How does it work with the work? Right. How do you balance that? Because naturally, this takes its toll. Because you work across time zones as well. So there are times you're meant to be sleeping, but you're up because you're trying to track your container, as they say, right? So how do you balance this with family? Maybe both of you quickly.
Yeah, I think it's important to have a good support system. Having a husband that understands and supports you. And our husbands have been there literally from the start.
Sorry, wait. Let's put our hands together.
Let's help ourselves.
For some of yourselves.
Some of us.
So yeah, they helped us negotiate the rent on our first property. So they've been there holding our hands, and we met through our husbands, by the way. So So having a good support system. So I have a daughter, Amma has 2 kids. Having people you trust at home. So we're here this morning, and we've had people take our children to school we couldn't obviously do that ourselves. So just being able to manage that, not just with the family, but even your social life, not losing yourself just because you're now an entrepreneur. I think it's important to be intentional about striking that balance. And I think we try as much as possible to be intentional about it. I know, hanging out, relaxing, catching up with friends, and not just being, in your own world of entrepreneurship and family life.
It's brilliant, Emma.
Yeah, that support system, I think it's so crucial. Like Ike said, supportive husbands. Our husbands are super supportive, and we're so grateful. Even our kids as well know what we do, and they are able to sell our business to their friends, which is wild.
Really? I hope do you pay them for this?
They're going to school, and then obviously our home as well, and also I think that understanding as well that we have with our families and with each other. I think that balance that we have, we understand our strengths, we understand our weaknesses, we understand what works for us, that helps. If somebody is indisposed at some point, the other person lifts the other, is able to step in. So.
I want to ask the time both of you disagreed strongly on anything. Because we don't have so much
time. You had that time.
But I'm sure you have that time.
Of course.
When you say, no, I don't.
Disagrees.
But the last question in 30 seconds each. Being a woman, how challenging has it been? Does it have its own advantage and disadvantage? Because you know the way the world works. So I want you to speak to that, because some women have that challenge.
Yes, so it has its advantages. The advantages are that you're able to shine, because nobody expects much from you to start with. So you're always able to shine in everything you do. You always have an edge because everybody's trying to lift the woman up. However, the other side of it is the male-dominated industry. Meaning in the male-dominated industry, I think a lot of people overlook you when you're first in business. And I'll give a quick example. When we first started years ago, we were in a group chat, and we were the only women in the group chat, and we were ignored, even as we kept sending messages in the group. And we didn't take it to heart. We just saw it as one of those things that happen. So I think not to play the female card all the time. Remember that yes, you are female, but always bring your A game. No excuses. Everything.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that, yes. Always bring you don't approach business as a female, just approach as a human being and do your best. Do the best you can. As women, we have the advantage of being more organized and being able to carry out business with empathy. Yeah. Things can go wrong. The guys just be like, I beg, the person need to take out insurance. Sorry, I can't deal with that. But then we look at things from the customer's perspective. Sometimes it works in our favor, other times it doesn't, but the customer remains at the center of what we're doing. And
Jeffrey, you heard that. Men are more organized.
They are, we are.
They multitask better, at least I can testify to that.
Yes. Whatever happened to our organization skills?
No, when it comes to politics, it's a different, let's not go there. Kikelawo Folagonia, CEO, co-founder of Cargoplug Logistics, as well as Ujama Akpata, COO, co-founder of Cargoplug Logistics. We're so proud of you guys. Thank you, and keep soaring.
Thank you. I'd like to add that we're called Cargoplug. We can be found on Instagram, Get Cargoplug, or our former name, Jan Tigidi. People should please follow us, use us for your cross-border moves and also your moves within Nigeria.
You pay us on that.
You get the bill.
You get the bill from us. All right, I'll take a quick break now. When we come back, we'll get to that guy who is doing wonders in the agri sector. With his skill in engineering. You would like to see what this guy can do. Trust me. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.